Hey, so today in this video, I'm going to give it to you straight, coming from the mouth of somebody who sells high-end homes. The skinny, the straight, whatever you want to call it, on the reality of this business, whether you're new getting into this business, trying to scale up the price point for the first time or whatever. But here's the reality of it. And I don't know if anybody else has given this to you this way, but this is somebody who's been doing this from me for over 10 years. Like to think at a high level. And these are the things that are the truths, not somebody selling you something or any of these gurus or coaches who tell you, whatever it is you want to hear in order to be able to get you in the industry. This is the truth of it. And there's three things. One, it's harder than you think. And specifically in the idea or in the avenue of getting clients and getting deals done. It's harder than you think. I think there's a perception out there, especially when you started, that all of a sudden you're going to get in the business. You have a pipeline full of business, and all of a sudden people are just, please list their house with me. And yes, I have a $10 million house. Yes, I have a $5 million house. List the house with me. And then all of a sudden, somehow it's an all cash, all deal closing. And you only work for a couple hours a day. Like, it's way harder than you think it is when you get started in the business, because you have no business for a lot of people who are ramping up. And I'm talking to people who want to start from nothing and get right into high-end real estate, or just people who want to be in the business. It's harder than you think. A lot of it comes down to administrative work, hand-holding, setting parameters with clients, understanding what you're doing, not making mistakes, understanding what you should say, not say. And in the beginning, it's really learning what to do. And so if you think you're just jumping right into the industry and all of a sudden selling $100 million to, worth of real estate, it's way harder than you think. Number two, you're not special. If you do get in and do sell a home, you don't have some special powers. A lot of this is something that's going to have to be rinsed and repeated over and over again. And you're doing what a lot of other people are doing as you're figuring out your way, your niche, what it is that you do differently than anybody else. And remember that real estate, to get a license, is not super difficult. And there are a lot of other real estate agents out there. Less people trying to sell high-end real estate, which is something that I do and something that I'm trying to get people to want to go into, scaling their price point and sell high-end. But you are not special. There are millions of real estate agents out there. And most people that you know already have real estate agents. 80% of people that you see and talk to already have an agent that they would work with. So what it is that you do in the real estate industry, for a lot of people in their neighborhoods, you are not anything special. And I think in the beginning, you think like all of a sudden I have some special ability and special power, and that's great. And you should harness that, and you should want to be able to do something with that and understand. But in the very, very beginning, you as a real estate agent are doing the same transactions as everybody else. So what your job title is not special. And three, it never stops. It never stops. When you sell a house, you still have to get up tomorrow and make money. When you go on that vacation, just understand that you might have clients that still need servicing, and you still need to work on that, and you still need to negotiate. And then when you get back, you still have to work, and you're going to work all the time. You don't have an on-off season. I mean, sure, you could do it part-time, but to really do it at a high end, it never stops. And just because you sold a home doesn't mean you never have to sell another home again unless you retire. But it just, in general, it never stops. Now, did that make you want to quit real estate or not do it at all? Well, maybe for some of you it did. But the reality is, even though all those things are true, right? That's way harder than you think. You're not special. And it never stops. It's still worth it. It's still worth it to go in there and be able to work for yourself with a client, be able to be your own boss, to be able to run your own business, to be able to help people. And for me, in my case, sell expensive homes in order to be able to make more money in a check than I thought I ever could make any other way, and provide for my family. It's still worth it. But for a lot of people, and I think the statistic is like 86% of all real estate agents within the first year quit, it's because of those three things. It's harder than you think, you're not special, and it never stops. And for a lot of people that come from 9 to 5, that's a lot. So doing it all over in my career over 10 years with those three things now, there's certain things that if you go into this business knowing those things, but also understanding how to handle the biggest things, which is like, where do I get the clients? What do I say when I meet them? And how do I actually sell property? or how do I actually help the buyer do in the transaction? When you get help on those things, it makes everything easier. Start on a team, go as an individual. What brokerage do you go with? All these different things come into play with helping that first year really get going. My first year, I made no sales when I jumped into the business. I didn't make any sales. I literally had to figure out how this industry worked and wasn't understanding that, yeah, you're not special. It's way harder than you think and it never stops. But once you start to understand the industry, if you can push through that and then have your goals, have your skills, have your systems, you can really do incredible things, but it will never stop. And you are not special. And it's way harder than you think, but it doesn't mean you can't create an incredible life and make more money than you ever thought you could make. So again, wrapping it up, is it worth it? Absolutely. Should you find the right help to help you out in the beginning? Absolutely. Whether it's me or anybody else, I hope this video has helped you. Of course, comment, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and reach out if you have any questions. Good luck.